What's up, guys? We're back for another Rust What's Coming, and there are some big changes to Rust this time, and I feel like a lot of people are going to be extremely happy at first, but maybe not so much after. It's gonna change the game a lot. So before we even get to any of that, I want to go ahead and read something. So on Reddit, there was posts right and left. Everyone's going crazy. Honestly, my personal opinion, I think the devs listen a little bit too much to Reddit, because people who like something never take the effort to come and write up a essay saying why they love it. And you'll say, oh, there's the white knights and this and that, but that's a very tiny amount of people. I'll be honest, even myself, I don't go to a company and tell them how I feel about their product unless I'm pissed. So, you know, it's a big thing to deal with, and we won't go into that. But what I will do is, because of all of this, Helk, who is the main creator of the game, Gary has stated many times that Rust is Helk's game, came out and said the following to all these proposed problems that the community sees. He said, everything mentioned has solutions and will be worked on. Understand that I'm very, very aware the state of building is fucked, the state of rating is fucked, the state of components is fucked. With all of those fixed, the rest of the stuff you mentioned will also be improved. We just had a crazy, 3-month run of tons of content, and now we have to simmer down for a bit. One of the things people bitched hardest about was the fucked up AI in the game. That is exactly what we're addressing right now, and it's not free, it is not something that's fixed overnight, and is part of the reason why we put off doing it for so long. You guys are going to have to take your medicine for a couple weeks until it's sorted out. After that, I want to spend some time finishing all the stuff I left by the wayside, like farming, water, and fire, and just get the game in a better place. I feel dirty knowing that there are all these half-finished features that shouldn't take long to complete, but have just piled up over months and months. Once that's done, I feel like we have somewhat clean slate, and I'll address the issue of components grinding and people progressing too fast or slow. I'm going to add workbenches to facilitate this. They'll come in 3 tiers and be very, very hard to construct. So you guys may have seen these workbenches in my previous videos or the dev blog. So that's what they're talking about. You won't be seeing any P250s early on, also experimenting with the idea of scrap resources, which we'll talk about more here in a minute, that get similar to blueprint fragments and can be stacked in the research bench and consumed for a chance of finding the target item component, basically. I hope this might serve as a kind of currency for use in vending machines and be very sought after. I'm also going to experiment with the north-south thing we talked about, which basically means you want to advance your tech tier, you're going to have to move north and inland to the map because you won't find those parts at every rad town. The idea here is that high-level people will be battling each other and move forward on the map, and lower-level people will be encountering only each other, or mostly each other. You get the idea there. And I just lost my place. So this way, they aren't battling over the same resources Lobies will be farming for. Beyond that, we have to completely redo how building works. We have to add some kind of upkeep system so that it won't actually cost vast amounts of resources to maintain your over-the-top bases. We also need to double the cost of building for each floor up you go. When we need to make it less effective to honeycomb and more effective to make interesting bases with traps. But this requires electricity, which is a whole nother thing we have to work on later. The game is in early access still because it's half done, and there's a monumental amount of stuff that needs to be completed. We know what the problems are and have plans to address them, but it's not something that's going to happen overnight, and quite frankly, I think we do a pretty damn good job at chipping away at everything week in and week out. Disclaimer, anything mentioned is subject to change if it turns out to be stupid, a bad idea. Just want to let people know we have solutions for the problem. So that's from the man himself, that's from Helk, and that's kind of what's going on. Well, we're seeing some pretty radical changes. So that scrap resource has been put in. He said, hey, let's just check it out. So basically how it works is you can find a small amount of them in barrels and a larger amount of them inside of boxes so far, okay? Once you put them inside of a research table, you can put in a said component. Once this runs, the amount of scrap depends on how successful you'll be in getting it. So now we have 2. I can pop this back in and tell it to try to get me another tech tier. Now, there's all sorts of ways this could go wrong or make people happy or be the best thing in the world. We're just going to have to test it and see. And that's what we're doing. You guys have to remember, we're testing a game. I know it's been a long time and that frustrates people, but either you're in it or you're not. So let's go ahead and talk about how this works. Each component has a worth. So this first line here is how much scrap you need to get a 100% chance of getting that component. So 30 to get a gear, 10 for blade, 20 for a pipe, 50 for a spring. Then if you grind down said items, that's what this bottom row is, and that is showing if you grind a gear, you'll get 3 scrap. A blade, you can get 1 back. So you can kind of do this trading system, which is what they're trying to basically promote. Have too many freaking propane tanks, scrap them, make scrap to make the pipes you need. So that's kind of thing going on there. For the other ones, we've got 20 for the stop sign, 100 for tech trash, 50 for semi-auto body, 75 for SMG body, and 100 for a rifle body. Now you see that I have the sewing kit and rope and tarp on the side. You cannot use scrap to make them. This might be addressed later on by using cloth or some other thing. Who knows? But this is just an early test of basically what's going on. So yeah, that's the scrap system basically. We'll quickly jump to one other thing here. The prices have been lowered for a few of these items. So for the bandana from 40 to 5, the hat 15 to 5, the balaclava from 40 to 15, the burlap wrap from 15 to 10, and the little boonie hat 15 to 10. So those are kind of, quick little simple changes there. But what we really want to talk about, guys, is building privilege, all right? So I'm privileged to build here, right? We're going to go ahead and clear it. I am now building blocked. I can still build. Or I can place a ladder. Ladders and twig can be placed in building blocked, no matter what. So that's kind of a scary thing. Now, Legacy was a lot like this. There was a radius you couldn't connect directly to someone's base. It had to be so many feet away. But, they're trying something out, guys. This will either suck or be amazing, but it's definitely going to change how people build. I'm scared that people are going to take the easy way out instead of building a creative base. And, don't get me wrong, we definitely need better ways to protect bases. More traps, a simple tripwire, shotgun on a tripwire, grenade on a tripwire, that kind of stuff. We only got the 2 turrets, and it doesn't open up everything. But anyways, that's a whole nother thing. The next question is going to be, well, what about high externals? Well, it's going to be the same answer. As you can see, I'm building blocked. I can go right up it, okay? I can also go ahead and stick a ladder on it, which obviously isn't going to work well because of barbed wire, but you guys get the idea. Well, shit, what do we do about quarries? Quarries are dead. Large furnaces are dead. I thought they wanted us to build compounds. Well, you can still build a compound, but you gotta earn it. You're gonna have to protect it. You're gonna have to put turrets next to your quarries to protect them when you're offline. It's not fair to say, oh, well, I have to stay on 24/7 to watch my quarry now? This game sucks. No. Earn a turret, then place your quarry down, then put walls around it so people can't just hop over, or maybe not at all. Just put turrets around them. Forget the walls. You're gonna have to change the way you play. You guys wanted raiding. You want stuff to be better. Give it a try instead of screaming and crying about it right away. Now, here's my crying. I just told you guys not to cry. Well, this is kind of what I'm anticipating here. So now that anyone can build anywhere, we're going to have to stop people from building close enough to our base to jump onto the roof. Or maybe you can hide it in the middle of the base. So we're either going to get really fat squat bases where you're going to have to play guess where the loot is, or people are going to do this crazy thing. They're going to stack walls, barricades, or the easiest way, spikes. They're cheap, they can break, but it's still an extra effort. you know, spider walls, people are saying might come back. Well, there's not really a reason to, because you can literally, you know, just kind of finagle about it, and you can, you know, boost and get over them, build onto them, it doesn't really matter. And the other thing, we're probably going to see a lot more turrets around. That's not necessarily bad, except look at all of this stuff. Now imagine it around a huge base, and then 40 of those on the same server. The entity count is going to go up a lot. So is that higher entity count going to hurt us? I don't know, guys. Sound off how you feel about it down in the description below. I told you. The comments section below. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a game changer, guys. Really big deal. I'm excited to see where it goes. I hope you guys are too. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.